Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is Sunday, October the 20th. And as there is obviously no Cardinal baseball in Red October anymore, we do have a nice big game six tonight between the Dodgers and the Mets.
Yeah, I want to start by giving my props to the Cleveland Guardians who just met their demise. Um, I think that's the best 5 game series. I mean, 7 game series only went 5 games that I've ever seen. Like every game was so close and nail biting till the end. It really sucks that was a series that felt like it was a 7 game series because every game was so close that only went 5. Man, they gave the Yankees everything they had. I just think the Yankees weren't going to be denied a trip to the World Series this year with the way the AL panned out.
Yeah, and when you can't predict Emmanuel Clase to just struggle in the playoffs. A guy
Which
who hasn't
sucks
struggled at
too.
all. It's terrible. Like it's terrible timing. We saw it here with Helsley. Everybody blamed Ollie. That's fine. You can do that, but you got to use your guy when you can use your guy. And
Mhm.
Clase just didn't have it. And give the Yankees massive props to hit big home runs. Soto's last night to get big hits. Also, Rodon has been fantastic. Garrett Cole was good enough. He was good enough, but he gets big outs when you need him, and I just think you have to give that bullpen, which really you haven't heard a lot about, moving Holmes out of that closer role, putting Luke Weaver into there, and giving Holmes that like sixth or seventh inning. They've really revamped. Shout out to Aaron Boone for revamping that bullpen there.
That's what I wanted to say. The whole conversation about the Yankees has been the last 3 years. Aaron Boone needs to be fired. Aaron Boone managed a hell of a series.
Agreed.
As much as you could put a stamp on a playoff series as a manager with the bullpen moves, everything he did seemed to work. Other than that game, what was that? The game the Guardians won, where John Kinsey hit the home run in the ninth, and then David Fry hit the home run in the 10th. But other than that game, when still he made the right moves, it was Clay Holmes and Luke Weaver. Like those are guys you're going to use when you're up. But he did a great job. The Yankees are going to the World Series for the first time since 2009, which is crazy. That's been that long. 47th appearance in the World Series, I think. That's wild too.
You know what else has happened for them is, even though a lot of the talk this offseason has been Aaron Judge's struggles, he showed up in a couple key moments when you needed him to show up. Juan Soto shows up when you needed him to show up last night. Stanton has had an incredible ALCS. I don't know what the overall numbers were, but
No,
it
he's
seemed
been
like
great. He won the
when you
ALCS
needed a big
MVP.
hit, like we talked on here,
Four
and
homers in five
yeah, I know
games.
we talked on we how many?
Four.
Was it four? I didn't know if it was three or four, but yeah, we talked on here in 2022 when the Cardinals were playing the 22, that you need your stars to show up in the postseason. Ours did not that those 2 games. Give those guys credit. The Yankees love seeing Austin Wells go yard as well. That's gonna be whoever they face. They're gonna be a problem in the World Series.
Yeah, I hope whoever they face is gonna be a 7 game series. That's what I always root for. I'm trying to look up Stanton's OPS in his career. I can't find it, but he has played 36 games in the postseason and has 16 home runs. He's
Yeah,
almost averaging a home run every other game. Like he is gonna go to if he wins a World Series with the Yankees and he has a big World Series, one, it's gonna really help his Hall of Fame case because everyone loves postseason performance. But two, like this guy's going to go down as one of the better postseason performers of this era.
we
And
agree.
and when he was great, like really great MVP caliber, great, he was never in the world in the playoffs because he was on the Marlins. So he's just a big game player. He hits huge homers. Just how about this? Can I make it a proclamation to every starter out there or starter reliever that's facing him? Don't hang the dude a slider. He is going to hit a home run on your hanging slider every single time you throw it. That's the only thing you can't do against Giancarlo Stanton is hang a slider.
If you would like to know, in 6 years, he's played 36 games in the postseason. He has a 1.019 OPS for his career in the
Yeah.
postseason.
So better than he is in the regular season. Like
That's
legitimately great.
unbelievable. Shout out to him. I've always been a Stanton fan. People
Hate
love to
St. Louis.
they love to shit
Hate
on
St.
him.
Louis.
Yeah, he does. He does. He does not like gooey butter cake or pork steaks. We do believe, but he good for him for having this. It's what they needed. I think it's gonna be intriguing. Now let's just talk. We'll get into Cardinals here in a minute because obviously that's why we do this. But I think this is important. If I were to tell you, I don't remember the opening day was right around the April whatever, right? That the Dodgers would be in Game 6 of the NLCS. I think you would have bought that, right? But
Mhm.
if I would have told you that Michael Kopech was starting Game 6 for the Los Angeles Dodgers what would you have had to say? And what a wild turn of events for the Dodgers. I mean, game 5, they put it all on Jack, and poor Jack did not have it. I mean, Smoltz talked about his velo was down to
He
over
was
2
sick.
miles per hour and everything else. And I mean,
They
what would
said he
you
was
say about
sick.
Michael Kopech?
Yeah, for Jack, they said he was like really ill before the game.
Heard that, yes.
Um, and obviously, I kudos to him. He wanted to probably go out there and give them 5 innings, like knowing a bullpen game was coming. And for the Kopech thing, honestly, wouldn't have been surprised
Really?
because they start bullpen games a lot in the postseason. I wouldn't have been surprised. I would have
Yeah, I
been like,
just
okay, well, that means Michael Kopech probably had a really good year for the White Sox. He didn't, but when he got traded, but man, he's been awesome. He is so good.
yes. I think he is free agent next year too. Another guy who's probably going to get
Yeah.
paid probably very well. I when you were going into and you knew that they were going to get Bueller back and you thought you'd get a couple other guys back and you had we were going to get Kershaw back, you had Glass now, you had Yamamoto. It would have surprised me to say they were going in Game 6 at home with an opener, but here we are. You've got Yamamoto sitting in the wings for Game 7. I mean, I guess that's what they're. Hopefully, if you're a Dodgers fan, which I do have a lot of friends down here who are Dodgers fans, hopefully that does not happen for them. But I think you and I both are kind of rooting for the Mets to win tonight, so it goes Game 7. As are the
Yeah,
Yankees.
I want Game 7, and then I don't care who wins because I think Subway Series would be cool, and I think a cross country LA versus New York series would also be cool. So I'm okay with either one that happens. It's gonna be great for baseball either way, I think.
Yes,
Um,
both would be great for ratings.
yeah, they will be. This has been the most watched postseason in like 20 years or something like that because 2 New York teams are in it. The Dodgers are doing well. Like it's been good for
Do
baseball.
you think Robbie and MLB are rooting for Dodgers Yankees, right? Like, because then you get
Yeah.
both coasts and you get all the Midwest who hate both teams potentially that will tune in just to watch one of those two lose. Because if you get Yankees Mets, it seems like west of the Mississippi is going to say we don't really care, like at this point.
I think baseball fans will care no matter what
Oh, yes.
about that because that is cool. I mean, have you seen the postseason commercials? There's literally a commercial that's only Otani and Judge,
Yeah, I know. I know.
and they run it all the time. Like they're hoping for this. Yes,
Yeah.
that'd be great. I mean,
It,
and I'm honestly hoping for that too. To be honest with you, I think that'd be great.
yeah, I mean Otani with a couple big bombs. I just would love to see him in the World Series. I just think
Yeah,
that if I love them, I don't love them. They're the Mets. So I just enjoy watching that team play, but I'm honestly rooting for Dodgers Yankees at this point if we're going to be on. I picked Dodgers Guardians. Like you said, great series. They just didn't have enough to get over the top. By the way, one last thing I will say about the Guardians, shout out to Lane Thomas and the postseason times big moments that
mhm.
he had. Love to see that. Also, that probably earned him a lot of money in the offseason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about a lot.
I mean,
Like
probably. I mean, he's going to get.
he
I
can't
don't
hit
think he'll get north
righties.
of 10 million.
Maybe.
He's
I
a
mean, he's
starting
gonna be a
center
platoon
fielder
bat.
who can starting
He's
center
not a
fielder
center
who can hit
fielder.
the top of the order.
He's not a center fielder
I mean, that's
for
where
a
he
good team.
plays.
For the Guardians, yeah. I mean, that's just because they don't have. Does he play in center for them?
Yes.
I mean, you kind of have to put him there when you have Quan and John Kinsey on the corners. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. All right,
Yeah.
let's get to the Cardinals.
Okay.
By the way, we're gonna probably see a Cardinal win the World Series. Is there a Cardinal on the? Yeah, is Luke Weaver's gonna win it, or Flaherty or Edmund are gonna win it, or Quintana? So we're gonna see someone win it. Um, I kind of. Do you think the Cardinals can get back to the postseason if they sell off pieces? Let's start there.
Okay. We talked last time on what you thought the return would be, and you want upper level, like you want major league, close to major league ready guys
Yeah.
or major league ready guys, right? That's what you want. I think it all just depends. I can't say yes that they can get there, but I can't say no. Watching what the Guardians did, watching what some of these other teams did this year, like even in the postseason, it's been wild where we talked about this last time. The two most dominant starters in the game were Philly with, I mean, duo with Nola and Wheeler, and they were ousted early. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes, but the stars have to align and a whole lot of things have to fall in place, mainly the pitching staff. Like mainly the pitching staff and the development
No,
of
and the
young
offense
hitters.
too. I think 3 things have to happen if they're going to. One, I think the one guy they can't trade if they think they have a chance to make the postseason is Sonny Gray, because they don't that rotation is not good enough to make the playoffs if you take him out. Like there's just no way in hell. If Sonny Gray's gone, who's your number one? Eric Fetty? That's not you're not making the postseason with that. And then the other 2 guys, Gorman and Walker, they have to become middle of the order bats,
Now,
legitimate top 5 hitters.
can I play devil's advocate on that? We just saw the Guardians make it with Tyler Bibby and who?
Bybee's better than any
Bybee,
starter on the
sorry.
Cardinals besides Sonny Gray.
I understand that. I'm just saying.
And so is who's the lefty? Gosh, been around
Oh,
forever.
Matt.
Matt Moore? No,
No, the guy
no.
oh my God, from the
Oh
Tigers.
goodness.
Boyd,
Yes,
Matt Boyd.
Matt Boyd. Like he had a really good year, and they're also the Guardians. They have Gavin Williams and guys that come up and make big starts for them.
Right. I'm just saying
Like
the Cardinals are going to have that.
yeah, I'm saying if Sonny Gray's gone, right, and we're going down this road of can they make the postseason without Sonny Gray and all these guys, then I think you almost need Quinn Matthews to come up and be rookie of the year.
Yeah, it's just so hard right now. It just seems like they're further from the playoffs than they are closer right now. Right now, where we sit, October 20th,
But isn't that weird?
2024.
Because they won 83 games.
Yeah, that I'm
Like,
not sure how.
like if they put this exact same team back together, and let's say they are on pace to win 83 the same way they did, and you add above average production from Walker and Gorman, you're in the playoffs.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Walker has to be in the top four of your order, if they're going to make the playoffs next year, and he has to be like legitimately earning it.
It in truth and in earnest, do you truly believe that they are going to deal one of those three or one of those four if you throw Helsley in?
Well, like I think Arenado's gone.
Okay.
I think he should be gone. If he's not gone, it's a joke. He needs to go. I'm over that. That era of Cardinal baseball needs to die. Put it away. Goldie's gone, so Arenado can go too. I wouldn't trade Contreras or Gray. I would understand trading Contreras. I just think you're trading your best hitter. Like, like he's by far the best hitter on the team. And I guess if they're okay, they shouldn't be okay with not making the postseason next year. That's where I've arrived. You won 83 games. Like, why are you okay with not getting a little bit better? I understand not blocking young guys. Go trade for a young guy, like to put in those spots. Go trade for a rotation piece. Do something. Like, there's no reason for them not to be able to say, why can't we, add a piece here or there and get to 88 wins? And
It
then you're in the
does feel
playoffs.
like if you're looking at trading partners, the Marlins and the Mariners are always the two names that are brought up. I'm not saying that's where it's going to be because I don't know that the Mariners are going to deal.
Alcantara, right or wrong, bring me Sandy back.
You think they do? I don't see them doing that. Him coming off an injury. Either way, I don't see Miami doing it, and I don't see the Cardinals doing it.
No, dude, if he was available and the Cardinals weren't in on it, I would pull my hair out. I don't know. Like, what was the question you asked me?
uh,
Do I think
I
they're
don't even
trading those
remember.
guys? I think it
The
would be
Marlins
foolish
and
not
Mariners like just seem like the two teams to me.
I'm out on the Mariners. No desire. Like if they were having anywhere close to reasonable asks for their guys, someone would be traded by now.
Yeah, I just
The
don't think
only
they're
guy I
dealing
could see
any of
them
those
moving
guys.
is Luis Castillo, and then the Cardinals aren't taking on that contract. So
No, nor should they.
and also the Mariners shouldn't trade Luis Castillo. They should not, but they might.
When do you think moves will start? I mean, obviously it's after the World Series, but do you think the Cards wait till the winter meetings? Do you think they get going earlier than that, or do you what? I mean, you can't let it linger. I don't think if you're going to make significant moves, I think you need to do them sooner than later. But maybe that's not the way they're going to do business.
I don't disagree, but here's the flip side of that is how much more can you get for a Sonny Gray if they're going to trade him, for example, or Ryan Helsley when Tanner Scott's off the market and the team that lost out to whoever gets him. And who are the big relievers out there? Like whenever they're all gone, Ryan Helsley's value goes up because he's the last guy, right? When Max Fried signs and all the guys Corbin Burns signs, Sonny Gray then becomes the best pitcher available. So I think there is value in waiting if teams miss out. But I also don't know the teams that are going to be in on these guys if they're the ones also in on free agents. Like it just depends. But for Sonny Gray, like that, since he's making legitimate money, he's going to be making 60-something million over the next 2 years. The teams that are in on Max Fried and are willing to spend whatever the $30 million a year he's probably going to get, those are going to be the same teams that were going to be willing to pay Sonny Gray. So you might want to wait.
Yeah, maybe that's true. You just don't know. I think we're going to be looking at the same 7 to 8 teams as we always are that are going to be looking at all the free agents and potential trade targets. It's going to be interesting to see Nolan. I mean, I think that's going to come down to what the Mets, what the Dodgers, what the Yankees do in the next 2 weeks.
He's not going to New York.
You don't think that he would waive a no trade clause to go to the Yankees?
Dude, he might, but that would be the most unaware of your what's self-awareness. That would be the least self-aware thing he could possibly do.
Would that
He would
surprise
get
you?
eaten alive in New York.
Do you think he would get eaten alive in LA?
No.
because he could not have to be the guy, even though he's the
Yeah, I
hometown guy.
mean, no one's gonna care if he gets out with bases loaded when you're up 8-4.
What do you think happens to Juan Soto out there in LA? Like that's going to be, or in New York, that's going to be interesting. Do you think he's back with the
I think he
Yankees?
earned himself. I think he just forced the Yankees to give him $600 million yet last
Yeah,
night.
I do too, and I think they will.
They have to.
Oh,
Like
I
they
think
have
it's,
to.
I think it's great marketing if you do keep him there, but it also helps your other superstar, who is really the face of your franchise, and Aaron Judge, to keep Juan Soto in that lineup as for as long as you can, and to keep those two together. Because as long as those two are together, like you're going to be able to score runs.
It also allows Aaron Judge in the twilight of his career. Like he's in his 30s. He can fall off a little bit when you have like Juan Soto's not in his prime yet, guys.
Yeah.
He turns 26 in like a week.
Uh-huh.
What's he gonna get? 14 years times like 45 a year. I think that's what it's
Probably.
gonna be looking at. Because
Yep.
if you think about that, when you get to year 8 or 9, the $45 million is going to be like today's 30, 35.
What if, in your mind, what are there like four teams that could legitimately pursue Juan Soto?
3
Yankees, Mets,
Dodgers.
Padres, Dodgers.
No, Peter Seidler, since he died, I don't think they're gonna be the same.
What about the Phillies?
They can't. They can't. There's no way. They're paying too many people. They're paying too many people.
I just want, like, that just seems like the team that is yet to get over the hump, right? Like they're the one besides the Yankees, obviously, and the Mets, like we know that one. But I'm saying outside of that, the Phillies just seem like the team that could, who should do it? It's the Orioles. That's the team that should do it.
Them and the Red Sox should do it. No, they're never going to do it though.
Correct. Yeah.
I
think Boston's an interesting idea, though.
No, they don't pay people anymore. They're cheap. Do you think do you think the Yankees are more likely to sign Juan Soto if they win the World Series or if they lose?
I honestly think it's the same right now. I think
I don't.
So you think if they lose, they have to sign him?
If they lose, if they lose in the World Series and they lose their second best player, how do you convince your fans that you're better?
I just think if you win, knowing the Yankees and just what they have done over the history of the franchise, they're going to want to continue to rattle off wins.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you win, then you win the trade no matter what because you won the World Series with him, and the fans are going to have a World Series. So even if he leaves, like they're going to be a little pissed off, but they still will have a World Series.
Yeah,
if they lose the World Series and then they lose Juan Soto, you're a worse team and you lost the World Series.
I think you're logically correct there. That's going to be interesting. But back to the Cardinals. Sorry. I just don't.
Juan Soto should be a Cardinal.
It's almost impossible. Yeah, it's almost impossible for me to say, are they a potential playoff team? Like, could they be? Yeah, if the right moves are made and everything falls into place. I just don't know that we're going to see the right moves made. I don't know that things will fall in place. I mean, I think everyone right now is nervous about Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker and Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar and guys that we thought were going to take massive steps forward in 24 that all took steps backwards. And I think that's something that has to concern you as a Cardinals fan and as the organization. And until we see them take not just steps, they need leaps forward at this point in their development. I just don't know how you take the Cardinals offense seriously when we saw them in the bottom 3 to 5 in every offensive category in the National League. I don't know how that gets better with Goldie out of there. If you trade Contreras, if you trade Nolan, like, yeah, these young guys are going to get a lot of at-bats, but it's time for them to step up at this point. Like, there is no longer, oh, we're waiting on you. No, the time is now.
Yeah, I don't think it's likely. I would give it like a 30% chance if they trade those guys that they make it. Maybe less, maybe 25.
Yeah.
I do think your hope would be that if you get those older guys out of there and they're no longer blocking people and you commit to playing these guys every single day, you say, we're not sending these guys down. They're playing every day because our goal is not to only make the postseason this year at all costs. Your hope would be that benefits them when they finally find their footing. And also the hope would be you get a competent hitting coach because, he's gone now.
I don't think it's just hitting coach either. I think it's everybody has to step up their game in that organization and in that dugout. Like everyone who's helping players has to step up their game. And when you have nothing but young players, that makes your job even more difficult, I think, at times. However, when it does feel like some of our veterans that we expected to be leaders, i.e. Nolan Arenado, and have not really done, from what we've heard, we don't know, allegedly, have not done what we wanted them to do and hope that they'd have the impact they have. Right.
They said it. Like, they said they needed Matt Carpenter. That's them telling us they weren't leaders.
And then Brandon Crawford.
I got really crapped on for that take in the offseason, and I just want to say I was right.
What was
That's all I
well,
want to
I
say.
don't even remember what that take was,
Because I
but
said like this is ridiculous that they have to sign these guys because the
oh,
guys getting paid $35 million aren't leaders. And then people are like, well, not every superstar is a leader. I'm like, dude, you're making $35 million a year.
right,
You think when the Cardinals traded for Nolan Arenado, they weren't hoping he was going to be a leader?
correct,
Like, well,
correct.
that's ridiculous. Like that, he has 35 million reasons to be a leader. I
Yeah,
don't want
we
to
agree.
hear, well, he just needs to be a good player. No, no, those guys make $20 million, not
Yeah,
35.
it's going to be a really. I think this, like we said last year, how big the off season was. This is honestly an organizational changing off season,
Could
like
be.
potentially one way or the other. Right? Could potentially one
Would
way
you
or
be
the other.
disappointed if they don't trade anyone?
Yeah, because that just doesn't make a lick of sense from an
It
organizational
doesn't, does
standpoint.
it?
No, like that. If you do that, then you've proven to us you legitimately are tone deaf and have no clue what you're doing.
So if you were in charge, which of the four would you trade? Or if you
I'm
would trade
dealing
all
Ryan
four?
Helsley,
Yeah,
no
he is
doubt
gone.
about it. He's gone.
Or you
That's
extend him.
if no, I'm not. And the reason is extending. He's going to cost you a lot of money that you could put into other areas to
$90
improve
million
this
dollars
team.
at least, probably.
Ryan Helsley's gone. I don't know who the successor is to that. I don't have that answer. That could be
Brian
a Ryan
Fernandez, why not?
Fernandez. Correct. Correct. But he's
Take
my number
hints if
one.
you want to give him a year.
If you would like me to rank the four, it goes Helsley and Arenado at the top. Like go. That's almost addition by subtraction. No offense to
No,
Ryan Helsley.
ho,
I
not with
hold on,
Ryan
hold
Helsley.
on,
It's not.
hold on. That's not. I don't mean getting rid of him makes the team better. That's not what I was.
That's
I,
what
I
that
was
that's
going to
what
clarify.
that phrase means.
I was going to
That's literally what
clarify,
addition by
but
subtraction
it is
means.
because you're adding assets to your franchise and your organization for the
Right.
future that you need, and you're also adding payroll that you can use if not in 26, maybe in 27, because paying a reliever with his injury history, just that's what I meant by that. I don't mean you're a better team. I mean you're making your organization better by trading him. That's adding by subtracting in my
Yeah.
point.
No, that's
So
that. Well, that's adding by adding.
but you're not adding. You're
You're adding
eliminating Ryan
players.
Helsley and you're
Okay.
adding to the future. That's what I mean by that.
I when I think of addition by subtraction, that means getting the guy off the team makes you better, and that's not true.
I think for the future it does. That's what I'll say.
It doesn't.
I think investing $60 million in Ryan Helsley
Yeah,
for
but
three
that's not.
years
But that's
after
not
that
the.
year does
But
not
I'm
make you
talking
a better
about.
team.
I'm talking about for next year. Like Ryan Helsley's not under contract. You're not
I don't
giving.
think
But when you trade him, you're not trading $60 million. He hasn't been. He hasn't
I
been given a
understand that.
contract.
I am not speaking from the point of view that I believe they are a playoff team in 2024 or 25. I'm looking forward, like beyond
I
2025.
agree. They need to trade him, and they need to get good pieces back. But I just want to say addition
And
by
then
subtraction.
third for me, I don't care. Like I'd like them to keep Gray and Contreras. I think you
Yeah, I would
need
too.
them. I think you need Sonny Gray to help develop. If you bring up Quinn Matthews, you bring up Graceffo, you bring up McGreevy, whoever it is, whoever the young guys are. I think Sonny Gray would be a nice stabilizing force to have in that rotation. And I think that would be a good thing. And I do not ever want to see Wilson Contreras traded from here because he has not gotten a fair shake over 2 years. Let him play as often as he can, and hopefully he stays healthy. If you got to DH him 40 games, 50 games, that's fine as well. 60 games, whatever, I don't care. But I would like to see Wilson Contreras be here throughout his contract as a Cardinal. I would understand it if they traded him because, again, that does make sense. There is an argument to say that. I just don't know that you're willing or ready to hand over the keys to Pages and Herrera at this moment, but maybe they are.
I think maybe you do that, and you tell Wilson Contreras to get a first baseman's mitt.
I've heard that. I've seen that out there a lot. I think that's a good idea.
And then like maybe he can't do it, and I'm not gonna like going to first base isn't always easy, but I think you keep him because he's your best hitter, and he's gonna probably be one of your best hitters in 2026, even if 2025 doesn't go well, I would guess. But there is a legitimate argument to say trading him makes sense. One, he's coming off of two incredible seasons. Like he was injury riddled this year. All of those were fluke stuff. So if you're a team looking to trade for Contreras, you're not going to say, "Oh, I'm worried about this injury lingering," because it wasn't like he was pulling hammies and obliques. He was just
Right.
getting it was blunt force trauma to his arms that was forcing him to get out to be out for a while. I just would hate that, and that's more of a personal thing because I love Wilson and I want to see him in the playoffs for the Cardinals at some point. But if you're looking at it from like an objective view, it doesn't make much sense to keep him if he's catching still.
And I think there's also a logical argument to say trade all four of them. I do, but I mean, I wouldn't get mad at people who say that. And I think also that kind of falls on the players. Like I really do. If Sonny Gray wants to say, I'm not comfortable, I signed here thinking we were going
Mhm.
for it over the next 3 years over my contract. I would like to finish my career in a destination where I believe we could go where I can end up in the playoffs and potentially a World Series. I think that's a valid point for Sonny Gray to make. And I think if you were to say that to ownership, then I think our ownership should do what they can to trade him. And I feel the same way about Wilson. Like I'd like them to be here, but if they both, like they've said they're going to have conversations with him. If both those guys say we're getting late in our careers, we would like to go do that. I think you kind of owe them that at this point because you did change direction.
I think I would be shocked if Wilson doesn't want to leave.
I mean, would you want to stay after?
No, I wouldn't. I'm saying like his comments after the season about how they need to get better and this organization needs to want to get better. How's that conversation going to go when they say we're not getting better?
Right. I agree.
Like if I'm him, I'm like, get out of here. Like this, if he's gone, that's sucks that he's gonna have hated his time at St. Louis as much as he
Yep.
has probably.
Yeah.
And it's all on the organization. It's embarrassing. You took your rival's best player who's talked shit on the Cubs for you and said this organization's better, and then you just ruined it the entire way.
Yeah, it's what they've done over the last 2 to 4 years is pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. And I just can't believe that John Mozeliak still has an office down there at the Busch Stadium. I just can't. It just still blows my mind. I know we pointed this out, and you made some really good comments about it. I still don't like it. I get it. I still don't like it.
The craziest thing about trading Gray and Contreras is there's a legitimate argument those are most two best free agent contracts ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Outside of Albert Pujols, but that's for a different reason. Obviously, that was magical.
Correct.
But like, I'm just
Correct.
like, I think those are the two biggest, like his two best big free agent deals ever. That
Yeah.
are like above $50 million. And they're gonna end up having to be traded potentially because they screwed everything else up, which is kind of poetic justice that him and the entire organization were using major league payroll instead of investing in minor league payroll, and all the stuff they need to do down there. And because he was doing that to sign guys like Grant Contreras, he's going to have to now trade the two guys that he did that for.
Yeah. I was on a local radio show here in New Orleans on Friday, and talked about the Saints. Obviously, you're wearing the Shaheed jersey. Hope you get better, Rashid. But it is eerily similar what the Saints organization and the Cardinals organization like. It sucks, bro. It sucks.
Derek Carr is Nolan Arenado.
They are no. Derek Carr's been way better with the players, evidently.
Derek Carr is mid.
With the players. So is Nolan Arenado.
Right.
It's just watching
That's
the
what I just said.
organization run.
They're the same
like,
person.
Like Mickey Loomis, like it's gotten stale. It just feels eerily similar to the Cardinals down here. And now the reference to hat you're wearing, thank God Wednesday night is starting. We are ready for Postseason. Let's go. Let's have a Zion year because I think we're gonna get scorched earth Zion this year in 2024.
He finally has a point guard. Bless up. Thank you. And
Yep.
apparently our former point guard is now a center, which is something. You know who is playing really well? The Blues are playing really well.
They are. They are.
They looked great last night again. Like that team's a lot. That team is what the Cardinals need to be in 2025. Young guys making an impact.
That I don't love the people who are telling me we told you this about the Saints because I hate that because they look so good in the first 2 weeks, and then now they have 8 injuries on the offense that no one could have predicted. So the offense you're seeing in weeks now, you can argue the Eagles game, they should have won that. Whatever. That's a fluke.
I would argue they should have won it.
They should have been 4-0. Like those are, and to be fair, Dennis Allen, terrible coach. That's what happens in close games when you have bad coaching. We get that. But what I'm saying is like these last 2 weeks, it's an anomaly offensively when you're starting Spencer Rattler and you have no offensive line, you have no Taysom Hill, you have no wide receivers. Like you can't say, oh, well, this is the Saints team we thought because this isn't the Saints team we thought was going to be playing.
Jalen Milroe and Ben Johnson. That's what I got.
Ben Johnson, yes. Yes.
I don't want Spencer Rattler to be the quarterback of the future.
I'll tell you the guy that everybody loves down here is Hainer. Like they love him.
Stop.
No, I'm not.
When was the last time a 5th-round pick was a franchise quarterback? Name me one.
Well, Tom Brady was later than that.
Okay, so 20 years. And I don't want to hear Brock Purdy. We know that's the system. Those two guys are the exception.
I don't like what you just hold on. I don't like what you just did there to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a stud, and he starts for my fantasy team.
Brock Purdy's
very
good.
bad, even though you drafted it.
Okay, outside of Outside of Brock Purdy and Tom Brady, who happen to be, by the way, in the two smartest organizations in football over the last 20 years.
Dak Prescott?
Fourth round.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty damn close.
Spencer Rattler wasn't good enough to go in the fourth round, was he?
It is weird that that's a weird thing. I think that was much more, he should have gone earlier than the fifth round. I think his stuff that happened early on in his career cost him a little bit of draft stock. I'm not saying Spencer Rattler is the future. I'm not saying no to Jaden Milroe by any stretch. I'm just saying I don't know the answer. Ben Johnson is number one. Yes, we agree there.
I don't want Shador Sanders.
No, I want Travis, wouldn't mind Travis Hunter, but I don't know that he can stay healthy. Because Derek Carr is going to be back. And when Derek Carr here's the thing, we saw Derek Carr for 2 weeks with a healthy offensive line and what he could do. He put up 100 points. We saw what he can do with a healthy team.
Their offensive line is awful.
Well,
it's awful.
Well, you're starting third. Yeah, okay, we don't need to get in it. We're not a Saints podcast. But either way, yes, we agree.
It's awful.
But when you lose McCoy, when you lose an all-pro center, and then all of a sudden Ruiz, who also very good guard, it's very tough. But the guy who's been disappointed is Fuaga. But I do think there is an argument to be made that when all the parts are lesser, your job becomes harder as a left tackle. So, okay, let's move on. But go Pels. Starting against the Bulls down here on Wednesday night. Would love to go, but I don't think I'm going to go to the opening night. But, yeah. So, back to the Cardinals. I don't know what else to say. I think it's almost wait-and-see mode with them.
Yeah.
I also think that I'm intrigued to see what they do with Ollie with the extension. Like, I think this bought him 2 years, don't you? Like, I think
one.
You think so? Do you believe that if they were to say in 2025, and they've already said it, but if they make the trades, let's say they deal 1, 2, 3, whatever, all of those guys, that no matter that they're going to worry about his win-loss record, or do you think they're going to look at the development of the players? Where do you view that? Because I don't know how that would be fair to Ollie to say we're in a rebuild mode and then keep him for the first year, but then fire him at the end of the year.
I don't think it'll be about whether they win 86 games or they win 76 games. I think it'll be about if he's playing Michael Ciani over Victor Scott.
Okay.
Like if you're Chaim Bloom and you're coming in, Ollie shouldn't be safe for that second year no matter what. Chaim Bloom should get the decision to keep him or not keep him. That should be 100% his choice. If he decides he wants to keep him, that's his choice. If he decides he wants a new manager, that's also his choice. Maybe Kevin Cash will leave the race. That'd be great. But I think it'll be about who he's playing and how he's handling the young guys. Because to be honest, the last month, it made no sense. Ivan Herrera wasn't playing. Michael Ciani was playing for some reason. Like, if he keeps doing that all year next year, because he wants to make the playoffs at 85 wins or 86 wins, whatever it takes, and he's ruining development for that, then yeah, he should be gone. Now, if he's told and given that certainty of, hey, play the young guys, and that's what we want you to do. Whatever the record is, the record is. If Nolan Gorman bats 170 next year and he kills you because of it and you can't win, then they know. They know Nolan Gorman's not the guy. They know Jordan Walker's not the guy if he's not again next year. Like they gotta figure it out. Because
what happens, dude, if both those guys are bad? Like what happens if both of those guys continue to regress? What like
JJ
what do you
Weatherhill
do?
and Chase Davis better be good. That's the reality of it. Or you have to go trade and sign for people.
Yeah. Man. Let's hope not. Let's hope they're all awesome. That's what I hope.
What are the odds both of them are good? Like actually
50-50.
legitimate, like let's say 20 to 25% above league average perennially.
Do I believe both have that in them? Yes. Do I believe both will become that player? No. So I'm going to say one of them does and one does not. And I couldn't tell you which one.
I think they both do.
Okay, I hope so. I hope you're right.
I think they do it in very different ways. I think Jordan Walker is going to be a really good hitter. I don't know if he's ever going to be the power hitter he maybe can be. Like he might be one of those guys that you look at and it's like, okay, he has a lot of power, like Yandy Diaz, and he just pops off for 30 homers one season every 5 years because he finally starts lifting the ball for a couple weeks. But I think he might end up just being a really good hitter, and Nolan Gorman's just going to, somehow get to an 800 OPS with a 280 on base percentage. Because he's going to hit a bunch of homers. That's what it has to be. And if you have those two, those are very valuable guys. The problem is going to be if those two are let's just say they're 15 to 20% above league average. Good players, that's a win in development, but then you still need to go get a superstar, and they don't have one.
Yeah, especially, like I said, I have massive concerns over Newbar and Donovan. I just do. I mean, I
don't
like both
over
of
their
them.
performance. I think they're both really good players.
I think they're both good players.
Like Newbar's every year 15% above league average.
Every year he plays 60 games. 70 games, 80 games. Like that's the thing. He's got to stay healthy. He has to find a way to be in the off, and he has to find a way to drive the ball in the air. Like his lack of power last year is concerning to me. Like that's got to be a concern. He needs to hit home runs for this team.
I agree. He needs to hit the ball in the air more often, and if he does, he'll be 2022 Lars Nootbaar again. Like that's what he started doing that year. The problem is, I look around baseball and I watch a lot of playoff games. I've watched almost every one. That's a problem for a lot of guys. It's hitting the ball really hard into the ground because guess what? It's hard to hit sinkers that are 98 miles per hour into the air. Very hard. There's a reason they throw those sinkers.
I'm simply saying, I think for this team to do what you asked at the beginning of the podcast, which is make the playoffs, Lars Nootbaar has to hit more home runs in 2025. That's what I will say.
They have to hit more home runs as a team.
Correct.
Like Gorman has to hit 35 and Walker has to hit 25.
Yeah, which I do.
And it's not a fair thing to put on those guys. It just isn't. Because like if Jordan Walker's 10% above league average next year at the ripe age of 23, that's good. That's a good 23-year-old baseball player. But where the organization's at, if we're talking about what it takes for them to become a 90-win team again that gets in the postseason and we see what happens, they have to be better. It's just the reality. I'm intrigued. Of it, the youth movement.
I don't know about you, but I'm intrigued to see what those two do in the offseason. Like, I'm really intrigued to see, like, and I don't know if we'll know everything, but I'm intrigued to see who is Nolan Gorman working with in the offseason. What is he doing to
Kyle Schwarber, please.
To learn to hit, well, you know, Kyle Schwarber's guy, right?
Kevin Long.
Bingo. Like, so I'm intrigued to see if Nolan Gorman makes a call to Kevin Long.
He's not
like,
if
not, he should.
Teams.
If he gets fired. That's where I was going.
Maybe he is. He didn't get fired. They announced he's coming back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is he allowed? Okay, maybe he is because Jose Oquendo is helping Pete Alonso, which, by the way, hate that. Hate that Oquendo.
I thought you could do that in the offseason. I could be also completely wrong. So
maybe you can.
I don't want you to quote me. Don't quote me, boy. I ain't said shit.
Okay. I don't like that. I don't like that quote that you just brought out from Easy. It is like I guess he probably can. I don't know. Go work with some major league hitters. He lives in Arizona. That's like the hub for all major league players in the offseason.
You know, I also say I don't know that he's not. Like I'm not casting.
I guarantee he is.
But I just am intrigued to see who he gets with because it's got to become fastballs. He's got to be a better fastball hitter.
I don't think he's ever going to be a good fastball hitter.
And that's concerning if you're wanting him to hit 35 home runs in the big leagues.
Here's why it's not concerning to me. The only way it's bad is if he's not taking advantage of the pitches he's getting. Like he's going to get sliders and curveballs because he can catch up to a fastball. Like he has the quickest bat speed on the team, by the way, which is so weird that he can't hit fastballs with that. It's just he missed so many pitches in the middle of the plate last year. Like when you get a hanging slider, you can't miss it. Yeah. That's what Kyle Schwarber does really well. Kyle Schwarber has a ton of holes in his swing, a ton. That's why he only batted like 250 this year, but that's an anomaly. It's normally around 200. But he doesn't miss pitches he can drive. That's why he hits 45 to 50 home runs. So if you get he might 3 times a week, you might get a hanging slider. 2 of those have to be home runs. That's how he can become the player he needs to be.
I think the good thing and what Cardinal fans have to remember, and at times I am guilty of forgetting this, but then I also try to also quickly remind others. So at times I do fall off of this train, is that he's 24 years old. So let's just relax. At 24 years old, Kyle Schwarber had just been in the big leagues for about a year or two. Like he played 3 years at Indiana.
He was killing it though.
Right, he was. But he also had a couple down years in his first few years, if I remember correctly, with the Cubs.
The Cubs non-tendered him.
Right. So like I think we have to remember that. I am just hopeful that they have made a philosophy change and these young guys are working with the proper guys in the offseason, not just spending all their time at drive line to become friends with Nolan Arenado. That's what I'm going to say. Like, I really do hope that.
And I think Arenado, like in the offseason, I'm sure he has some really good advice for these guys. Like, say what we want about Arenado. He's been a hell of a major league player. Like, he's done a lot of great things.
I was not trying to take a shot at Nolan.
No, I know. I'm just, because earlier I was saying things about him, like, as I do, as I tend to do because he frustrates me. He's a Hall of Famer in my mind still.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of great things. He has a lot of wisdom to share. I just think they need to get new voices because what Nootbaar's doing is not working. It's just not.
Yep. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
It's maintaining a status quo, but it's not elevating his game at all.
There also has to be something, especially for Newt, to really work on getting eliminating soft tissue injuries and the injuries that he gets. Like
it's so tough to do, though.
It is. I agree, but I mean, I know that was it the Saints that just got rid of their guy? Like, are they the ones that are bringing in a new? diet or strength and conditioning and diet guy. Did I read that?
Yeah, which
Somebody.
is such a funny guy to be your fall guy.
It
It's
is,
so
but
funny.
like I think there might be something to that. Like there could be. Now there are also just always going to be fluke injuries. When you're a professional athlete playing at that speed, like you're just going to get hurt.
You
It's
know
going to
what it
happen.
is? They don't practice contact anymore, which
Right.
good. It's good. Like less concussions, great. I'm all for it. But there are effects of it, and this is it.
Yes,
People get
we
hurt more
agree.
often.
No more Oklahoma drills like I had to go through when I played my 1.5 year of football in my life.
Okay,
So
I said, do you have anything else on the Cardinals? Because this is
I've got
this
nothing
probably,
else on the
I'm gonna
Cardinals
be
because, like I
honest.
said, it's just so hard to
Yeah.
talk about right now. I think one thing we could do maybe next time is start looking at potential trade targets out there. I know you brought up Colby Mayo, but about guys who maybe the Cardinals around the league could look at. I just think it's so tough right now until we even know what we just don't know. We just don't know.
If they're willing to trade Colby Mayo, Sonny Gray and Ryan Helsley, gone.
Yeah,
And if you want
agreed.
Newbar too, he can go too. Like
Yep.
seriously, that's what I would do. I would say,
Yeah.
how many players do I have to give you to get him?
Right.
And I will give them to you. Do you want Victor Scott to
Hmm.
replace Cedric Mullins? Take him.
Yep. Yep.
God, that would be a dream. They're not going to do that, but that would be great. You know,
No, it would
another
be
team.
fantastic.
Okay, I have something here.
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox don't like free agent contracts anymore for some reason. Pablo Sandoval ruined that franchise, I think.
He did.
And Hanley Ramirez, that was the worst offseason of all time by Dave Dombrowski. I think they're going to trade one of their big prospects for a pitcher. They need starting and they need bullpen help. I think I would make a call and see who they want to trade.
Yeah.
If it's Marcelo Meyer, because a lot of people think he's going to be a second baseman anyway. If it's Roman Anthony, I don't think they'll trade Roman Anthony. But they have a great farm system.
They
And
do.
you know who loves that farm system?
Time Bloom.
I'm putting money down right now that they make a trade with the Red Sox.
Okay. All right. I love that. I will forget that you made that statement, but you will not. So if it does happen, you will remind everyone that you were correct. And I love that because then I can say, oh yeah, you were.
You know who else has great numbers in Fenway?
Who?
Nolan Arenado.
Okay. Well, they do have a guy named Rafael
You
Devers.
know who can't play defense at third base?
Rafael Devers.
Rafael Devers.
Well, that isn't. I don't know that Rafael Devers would agree to become their DH. I just don't.
I think he would. He's dealt with a lot of injuries lately, and he can't field a ball.
He might. I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't know.
But then they have to trade Mazataki. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get an Arenado for Mazataki Yoshida swap.
Oh, no,
because you know who signed Mazataki Yoshida? I Bloom.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Please
let's not do that. No. All right. You got anything else on the baseball front tonight? You're rooting for the Mets because you want Game 7, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wouldn't mind a Game 7 either, but I will be honest. I do want the Dodgers to win that series.
I think I do too, but I also think I don't care. I
just find it damn near impossible for me. I tried to root for the Mets. I like I said, I enjoy watching that team play. I love Lindor. I love Vientos. I love Alvarez. I love some of those guys on that team.
Awesome, by the way.
I love it.
He's so good.
Love that guy. It's just hard for me to find. I can't. I really struggle rooting for Pete Alonso. He is such a fucking oaf that I just can't root for him.
I don't like Pete Alonso, but I don't want to get into it even further than that.
I think he's probably a great guy.
He's probably super nice.
I want him to be the Gronk of baseball, and I think that's what he wants to be, but he does not have the Gronk personality.
He's also not good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob Gronkowski's the greatest tight end of all time.
Well, you just took a few shots at some guys right there that people aren't going to agree with. I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp.
How many Super Bowls did Tony Gonzalez win?
Probably not. I don't think any. Yeah, zero argument.
Give me Gronk.
Travis Kelce's in that argument.
No,
he is.
Travis Kelce can't block a cornerback.
He has 3. I'm not gonna. I agree. I love Gronk.
If you were starting a team right now,
yes,
and you were to take prime Gronk or prime Kelce, who are you taking?
I'm taking Aaron Hernandez. That dude will do anything to fucking win.
I don't know about that. He wouldn't even stay out of jail for it. So.
I heard I'm not going to watch it. I heard the new show is absolutely abysmal. I'm not going to watch it. I watched the documentary.
The first show was awful. I don't want to get into it, but they took a lot of liberties with his story that I think
they
did.
But I heard the show, it's just bad. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, these true crime shows, I enjoy a lot of them, but it's tough because they're taking a lot of liberties to dramatize things, and that does suck to do with someone's life.
I got through 3 episodes of the Menendez brothers one, then I haven't gone back to watch another episode.
I enjoyed it, but I understand why people are mad about it. That's what
I
I'll say.
wasn't mad. It just kind of was like, okay, it's the same. Like every episode, the first 3 episodes felt like the exact same thing to me.
Yeah,
They were
Ryan
just
Murphy is an interesting person.
he is, and I like a lot of his stuff. I just didn't understand. I don't care either way. If they were, I do not like it. Just that's something we've never heard in our lives.
I don't think anyone. Yeah, I don't know. I think he took a lot of. He did this thing. We don't have to get into this any farther, but he took a lot. He was trying to give perspectives from everyone's story. Is what he was.
Yes, I
And a
agree.
lot of people get mad about taking perspective from awful people's sides.
After Halloween, I'll probably get back to it and watch the end of it if we're gonna be honest. But I'm not watching the Aaron Hernandez one. I
Are
just
you
can't
gonna
do
go
it.
see Terrifier 3?
Not a. There is
I
legitimately
think I'm
less
going
than.
this week.
Did you watch the second one?
Mhm.
Okay, I watched the first one and refused to ever watch another one in my life.
Yeah, I like them. They're so over the top that they don't gross me out. Like there's like
That's
a certain
I
level
think
of over the top that it can get to where it's just ridiculous.
I think that is the perspective that you have to have. I just can't do it.
Like there are some movies that try to look ultra realistic and do stuff like gross things with like gory things. I don't like those because they
I made
really
it.
like mess with my head.
I made it through 3 Saws, and then I said I was done. And I made it
Yeah,
through
like
three Final
those do that.
Destinations, and I said I was done. I just don't like. Your mom made me watch Hostel. That was enough for me.
I hate that movie.
But I
I have a
like
beef with
scary.
that
Dude, I
movie.
like scary. I don't like. I just personally don't like the gore. I just don't like to watch it. So I don't like to watch sad movies, and I don't like to watch gory movies. That's about it.
I also I want to say I kind of judge myself for liking those movies. Like I don't know why I do. Like
I don't
what's
think you
wrong with
should.
me?
Like, I think you guys, you and your sister and your mom like those movies, and you put them in the right perspective. Judge them as campy and goofy. I can't do that. I
I
like
guess.
Halloween because it always had the until some of the last ones until Rob Zombie then took over, which did change the game a little bit. But I like those movies because they left a lot to your match. You knew what was happening, but I didn't need to see I didn't need to see the woman hung upside down and cut in half like they did in Terrifier. I did not need to ever see that in my life.
We just got monetization on YouTube and it just got taken away.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
Yeah,
Anyway,
happy
go see it.
Halloween.
But I would not. I'm not. I'm not going to go see it. So,
I'm excited about it.
yep. You got big plans for Halloween? We had our party this weekend. It was a good time till Emma's cat got out, and then all hell got ran loose.
She
And
got
then
out?
yeah, for an hour, and it was madness here. Somebody left the back door open, and Cody got out. We found her underneath the house. She was fine, but
She's lucky there wasn't other animals down there.
it was a rough hour here, and then it really did kind of kill the vibes of the Halloween party that was rolling very strong.
Yeah, that sucks. We're gonna go out this weekend. I'm sure 3 times or something probably. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have hockey broadcasts this weekend, so we'll be going out afterwards.
We had the Halloween parade last night, which was awesome. So today is chill and order DoorDash Sunday here. And then we've got Booze and Brews this week at City Park, where it's like Halloween themed, but we have VIP, which means full all the beer you can drink and all the rides you can ride, which will be kind of cool. And then Halloween night will go out. So that's it.
All right, last thing before we leave.
Yep. That by the way, if
Illinois
you were still
football.
watching this, shout out. Shout
I
out
mean,
to
I'm sorry.
you.
We I don't even know why we're doing one because I don't know what to talk about.
Because
Like
it's
this
fun.
team, it's just rehashing everything, and I'm kind of just over it. That's why I'm wearing New Orleans stuff today because I'm moving on from Cardinals. And honestly, I'm going to take this off too because I'm moving on from the Saints as well. Um, Illinois football, if they beat Oregon this weekend, if they do, they'll be a playoff team.
They still have do they
Yes.
have Ohio State?
No,
Okay, do they have Indiana?
I don't think so.
Who do they have after Oregon then? Do you know who is on that
Minnesota.
schedule?
They have
Yeah, that
Minnesota coming up, which that's a win. That's a
Rutgers. I
Minnesota
think we
at
have
home has
Rutgers.
to be a
Rutgers isn't
win.
very good.
So their next, it goes Oregon, Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, Northwestern.
Oh, yeah,
If they beat Oregon, they're making
yes,
the playoffs.
yeah. Shout out to Bielema.
But
Shout out to Luke Altmaier. That team is fun to watch, man.
Luke Altmaier is going to get a bag to go somewhere else next year. By the way, he's a
You don't
stud.
think he stays there?
I mean, if USC says here's $1 million to come play for USC,
Yeah.
why would he stay?
Or Oregon? I don't know what Dylan Gabriel looks like out there. That environment out there, I'm intrigued to see how well Illinois travels. It's hard to get. I think Oregon Stadium's small. It's like Illinois. It's only like 50 some
They're not going to
thousand.
travel well. It's too
I
far
don't
away.
think that's a tough one, but I do think you'll have some Illinois fans out there, but not like what Ohio. That's I just if they go in and they beat Oregon, that's
why not?
outrageous. That's
why
outrageous.
can't they?
I'm
Like
not saying,
Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Like they can go in and beat Oregon.
yeah,
You know what's great? First off, Illinois 3 top 25 wins, most in the country.
yep.
And The one team they've lost to is now ranked number 2 in the country. Penn State.
I know, and how much do you just love listening to the Mizzou fans whine about dropping in the rankings when they
Okay,
have
well, let's
legitimately
not
beat
alienate
no
our
one?
entire fan base here.
I don't care. I don't care.
Dude, by
Like,
the way,
play
my take,
somebody, play someone.
I think Illinois would slaughter Mizzou.
Oh, it wouldn't. Yes, I agree. I agree.
And that might be a bad take, but I
No, it's
don't think
not.
they Pat Bryant would go for 150. What a
Yeah.
stud. Also,
Like,
great guy. Really big fan of
yep.
Pat Bryant
All
over
right.
here.
All right. Well, shout out to Illinois
What do you
football.
okay, last thing, but then we can get out of here. What do you think of the jerseys?
Oh, okay. They were fine. I don't need to
I
see them again.
love them. They're
I
awesome.
love the helmets were bizarre. Try to do the
They,
leather
dude,
look.
okay, so we talked to the guy that did the helmets for our sports show this week, and it took them 2 hours to make every single helmet.
They're cool. Like they're fine. But the Illinois
They're
has such
awesome.
cool
I love them.
unis. I was glad. I thought it was cool they did it. I don't know if they need to bring those back for a while, but
It's
I did
cool
think they were
for
pretty
one.
cool.
It's cool for one time
Yeah,
thing. That's what
we
makes it
agree.
cool. Like if it was an alternate, like actually they were wearing them twice a year, I would hate it.
Yeah.
But for it being a one-time thing for the 100-year anniversary,
Yep.
there were only one of 3 teams that got a New Jersey this year. And obviously celebrating Red Grange, who had the big game 100 years ago,
Yep.
a couple days ago. Like that, I like it. I thought it was really cool, and
I
also it
agree.
was cool that they beat Michigan because they haven't beat Michigan
Yep.
since 2009. It's
When
good
does your
Michigan
story come out? Is it already out
tomorrow.
tomorrow? All right. All right. We'll check it out.
Yep.
Okay. Let's get out of here.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right, everybody. Hey, everybody have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy a little baseball. Enjoy some Halloween candy. If you like that stuff, go see Terrifier 3. I will not, but that does say a lot about Caleb Noble. So we will talk to you soon. Go Cards.